Oh my God, the light has been in the shot the whole time. This is a one-man production, people. Here we go. Round 3, Fort Nova. Welcome back. It was a wonderful week, a busy week. One hair there. Starting off, I decided to do some demo.
Here's Reggie! That was so fun. I always wanted to do that. That was awesome.
Don't worry, I asked the house first. I made sure everything was cool, everything was kosher, everything was on side. And the energies said, hey, Reggie, go right ahead and just take that down. Okay, here we go. Just give you a tap. Just a tap. Just a little tap. I need to take a break. That was emotionally exhausting. But I have this main room, and that's where my wood-burning stove is my source of heat for the winter. And it really heats up this room like I'm boiling right now. But I decided that the room behind it, open it up into one big room. When we get more heat, I want the house to remain old school, etc. Oh, as I'm looking at the door handle on this room, this door will stick around and be used for something. You mark my words. It's very Art Deco, so 30s. Oh, it's beautiful. It was funny when I was knocking it down. I was hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, and I couldn't seem to get through. Finally, I pushed through. And then I looked, I noticed that layer of drywall, plaster, lath. So I had to drive through basically 3 major surfaces, not to mention the wallpaper and all the paint. You seeing how beautiful that is? It almost looks hand done. It might be back then. This is so beautiful and stunning. I wish that I could just take it out of the walls and just redo the whole house in it. I'm gonna frame it as much as it needs to be. I'm gonna have a contractor next week to tell me exactly what I have to do to take the load off. But those 1800s 2x4s right now taking the load, those will be kept and used for something. Those will not be burned. I'm burning some of the lath, but I mean, it's lath. I hope I can get some original old school beam to put in, take the load off. I'm gonna take the load off. It's not a bad idea. Also this week, my basement is ridiculously moist. Living near the ocean, dirt floor, rock walls, as in stones. And yeah, it's so moist that the beams at the bottom of my house are basically like sponges. So something's got to be done, or the house is gonna I went down and installed a vapor barrier all around all the walls, all the ground. So the basement, instead of being like super creepy 1850s scary basement with the scariest crawl space you could ever imagine, why did I buy an old house? Now it's like murder room from Dexter. So take your pick. Which would you prefer? Which one's scarier to you? Happy Halloween, I don't know. And then I've got to put in a dehumidifier and a vent, get some airflow down there. And then new beams, or like some beams, because what's down there right now, again, this, we don't want this. This is not ideal. We want like structured up. The absolute unequivocal highlight of my week was the former owner of this house sending me an email. It's not often you get to hear from the former owners. They keep us apart for some reason. I think, like inside or dealing or something, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you rarely hear. I got an email because he saw some of my content, and I need to read the very first thing that he said to me here. The house was built by family 5 or 6 generations ago. I think it was my grandmother's grandfather who started it. Goosebumps. It was all farm. And then other little businesses as well. It was passed down and sideways, so we're the first to break the chain. My dad couldn't take care of it anymore, and we, his kids, have all set down our own roots in other places, too far away to manage it. So we all agreed that for the house to carry on, it would need a live-in caretaker. And we're happy you heeded the call. Whew. I am a lucky duck. Quack. I am very silly and outlandish, ridiculous, but I take owning this house and this property very seriously, and I thank the family who sold it to me. for giving me the opportunity to take the wheel of the ship, and I promise to keep it safe and happy and grow it with my own family for generations. Whew. Thank you. Some of the more fun stuff, I love buying antiques and old things. I'm an old soul, and I have to always have, I dislike new. But when I buy old things, I want the story, oh man, I want the story with those things. So when the owner sent me this email, it was really spectacular because I got a lot of the story of the house. There's a little plaque spot on the front door, and it used to say A.M. Page for Albert Monroe Page. I was gonna wonder what was there forever. And eventually I'll put my own Castle Grayskull. But it was important for me to know what the original placard said on that door. This is wicked. The front room, which I'm kind of liberating by opening this up, but we don't have to go there. The front room is the original post office for the area. You can even see the old stoop and where there used to be a door in the room for customers to come in. You know, I wondered why people kept showing up at my window with packages. Holla. Anyways, this was the original post office for the area from 1884, 100 years before I was born, exactly, until 1961. Post office history right here. We're living it. Turns out that the one outbuilding, which is pretty beat the f up, which I look forward to restoring, is the original outhouse. Which is funny because right now I don't have any water, so I can actually use that outhouse. I kind of wish they kept it as such. But the best part is, it was the outhouse until the 1980s when they put in the plumbing for the bathroom. This place had just an outhouse until then. How nails is that? That is nails. That's the kind of house I want to move into, and I did. This is the coolest thing ever. There's a little spot where you can see where the stairs go. There used to be a door underneath it. And the guy who sent me the email, his dad used to play in there when he was a kid in like the 30s or 40s. But if I were to liberate it, open that door back up, his dad has some of his old toys in there. Future project much? I cannot wait to get in there and get me some treasures, which I'm happy, of course, to give back to the family. But I'm just happy to see them. That is so cool. And I'll put a door back there, because heck, I don't mind storage. The little brick path leading up to the house, that was the original chimney. They had to take it apart because it was falling apart, and they used it to build a path up to the house. And the little tree at the end of it was planted by the fellas who sent me the email, his grandmother, in 1910. That's so cool. I mean, there are trees around here a lot older than that, but the fact that it was purposefully put there in 1910 by the person who owned the house. Oh. However, I've saved the best for last. There's been lots of talk about spirits and whatnot in this old, crazy house. Remember the room that I shot the last vlog in where I love the wallpaper? It's actually my favorite room in the entire house. Yeah. The dining room behind the bathroom wasn't always the dining room. This is where the very old or sick would spend their final days. If there are ghosts, this is the source. My eyes, when I read that, kind of like bugged out in my head. That's where the old and very sick went for their final days. It almost makes it sound like it wasn't even just family that went in there, like it was a hospice of sorts. So, we're doing the vlog out here this week. I'm just kidding. I'm not afraid of the room. It has beautiful, lovely vibes. And it's still my favorite, maybe even more my favorite room in the house. I'm just using it now as a room for my equipment, and I just figured the bay windows would be kind of cool as a background too. So I'll probably just rotate the vlog all around the house. But yeah, to quote the great Jim Carrey, what a lovely room of death. Just looking in the room right now. It's right across from me. Yeah, everything checks out. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking an interest in Fort Nova. Stay tuned. Did you hear that? Wait, did you hear that? Did you hear that? That was just a burp. That wasn't a ghosty.